Hello everyone and welcome back to another Essential Album video. We're now on week 51 and this week we're taking a look at Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. First released October 27th, 2006. Some notable tracks off this album include Rehab, Love is a Losing Game, You Know I'm No Good, and Tears Dry on Their Own. This is one of the albums that I actually own on vinyl. Don't remember when I picked this vinyl up. I've had it for a while. It's been at least 10 years or so since I picked this up, at the very least. But I think there is some differences between this vinyl version and the version that's available like on CD. I think there's a song like track 11, because this goes up to 10, and there's a song called Addicted, which is track 11, which does not show up on the vinyl release of the album, but it shows up on like the CD and I think like the iTunes or Apple Music version. Listen to it on Apple Music. I also listened to the vinyl over the last like few days or so. Excellent album on vinyl. I have this album plus her previous album, which was Frank. And then I have another album called Lioness Hidden Treasures, which is kind of like a posthumous release that they did that has some like not B-sides, but like demos and some other stuff on it. It's kind of just like stuff that was kind of just like, I guess, like tracks that weren't necessarily complete, and just stuff that they threw together to make kind of like one last album. But this is her second studio album, I guess technically final studio album, because she did Frank and then did this, passed away, and then they did the Hidden Treasures album a little bit after that. So I have all three on vinyl. If I had to choose one just to listen to constantly, it would be Back to Black. Frank is really good. But Back to Black just feels like a more like cohesive album overall. Really like her voice. It's just a beautiful singing voice. Like definitely like R&B, like very bluesy jazz music. Came out, got really critically acclaimed. I remember like watching. I think we were watching like the Grammys at like a restaurant or like a bar, and just this was winning just so many different awards. It's an amazing album. I would highly recommend checking it out. Like I said, her discography is pretty small, so like you could probably just binge through all of her stuff pretty quickly. But definitely a lot of like very good music. I think this also has the remix of. Let me see what it was. There's You Know I'm No Good. There was a remix that featured Ghostface Killer of Wu-Tang Clan. So You Know I'm No Good is its own track, and then they did a version that has some verses from Ghostface on there as well. We're going to look at the track listing off of the vinyl, and then I'm going to pull up the track listing because there are some slight differences. I think it's just that one track. But here we have, and here's our track listing on back here. It has all the lyrics as well. But side one, we're on side one right now. Track one is Rehab. Track two is You Know I'm No Good. Track three is Me and Mr. Jones. Track four is Just Friends. Track five is Back to Black. Track six is Love is a Losing Game. Track seven is Tears Dry on Their Own. We move to track eight, which is Wake Up Alone. Track nine is Some Unholy War. And track 10 is He Can Only Hold Her. The other track listing, I think that includes Addicted. Let me see here. So He Can Only Hold Her is track 10, and then track 11, depending on what version you're listening to, is Addicted. So don't know why Addicted isn't on this vinyl, but I remember I have the album on CD somewhere as well, and that has all the tracks on it. So all 11 and not 10 of them. Overall run length of the album is about 34 minutes. It's not a long album at all, but it's a very, very good album. I think if you have the United States edition, there's a couple extra tracks on there, some remixes, things like that, which brings it up to about 45 minutes. Like I said, I remember listening to this album back kind of not right when it came out, but it was right after. Really got into the album kind of like right after whatever Grammys it was, where I think she did some live performances there, and there was kind of like a famous like speech she made. She's like, "This is to my like husband who's incarcerated," or whatever the line was. Picked up the album then picked up Frank, and then eventually picked up all the albums on vinyl. I remember Frank. I think Frank was only released in the UK at least initially, and then years later, I remember like being at like maybe it was like a Barnes and Noble or something, and seeing that the that Frank had gotten like a re-release or a repressing. So I picked up that version of it, and then years later picked up the Lioness Hidden Treasures like compilation album. But you can't go wrong with Back to Black. It's like I think probably her best album. Like I said, Frank is pretty good, but this one just edges it out just slightly. And then if you're like a really big fan, I like the Lioness Hidden Treasures is like not the best. It's kind of feels like it was like a rush job to get just like another album out to kind of capitalize on like her like after her death, unfortunately. But Back to Black, you can't go wrong with it. Highly recommended. That's going to do it for this video. We have just one more video next week to wrap the series up, and then we'll do our one more episode after that, kind of just breaking down all of the various albums, kind of briefly discussing each of the albums and genres and what have you. But that's going to do it for this video. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.